Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show. My name is Rivka. Today we're going to talk about breath. But as I'm talking about breath, we are also going to talk about this prickly pear that I just did. You see here, see those trunks of the damn thing. I had to use a chainsaw for that. That's the stems, the what you call it, the bottom there. I have to cover it all in black plastic, so I just piled it all. I've got a few more piles here that I've done. I sort of go and get big ones, and I get Solly to cut it or somebody else to cut, and then I cut all the smaller pieces and pile it up. But today I did most of it myself. And while I was doing that, I was contemplating on what I would like to say, because since this morning I was thinking about it, and I sort of had a chat to Tom and to some guides, and go, okay, well, how do I explain this? So here we go. So we don't even pay attention when we breathe, right? We sort of do it naturally. Even when we sleep, we breathe in and out, as we do all the time. A breath is something that mostly we don't pay attention to, unless we sit and meditate on the breath, or we go somewhere where they do special breath therapy and all sorts of things like this. But the breath tells us something very important. It tells us when there is anxiety, when there's stress. It tells us when something is not right in our body. It gives us a lot of indication if we are willing to listen, and if we are willing to pay attention and use our awareness. Now, breath is also something that happens if we have to suddenly run away, or if we have to do it, it becomes faster. It has a lot of indication and a lot of things that are happening. A lot of times when we are anxious, we start breathing faster, even though we don't have to run or do something with it. And so it just accumulates that anxiety inside us. So what I would like you to work on, if you're so inclined, and if it gives you the indication that this is something that you should think about, is in the next few days, pay attention. Bring up your awareness to your breath, and pay attention when suddenly you go, ah, or you go, ah, like little sighs, deep breaths suddenly, and stop and go, what happened? Was I not breathing enough that suddenly I need an extra breath, like a deep breath? And then I should really pay attention how my breathing is when I'm walking, doing things, concentrating. I remember there was a time when I started doing sewing, and I would sit in front of the sewing machine, and every once in a while I had to stop. I was like, to breathe or something. And then I realized that as I was sewing, I was actually holding my breath. and I had to consciously breathe while I'm sewing. So I noticed that, when I'm concentrating, sometimes I tend to hold my breath, which is not a really good thing. It's sort of stopped my brain from working. So as you go during your day, in your day, pay attention to it. Pay attention how you breathe. Pay attention if you do need deep breath suddenly, to have a deep breath all the way down to the ribs, to the lower ribs, like an accordion, that you pull it to the sides when you breathe, not shallow up on the top part of your chest. And that's what a lot of people's tendency is when they suddenly take a deep breath. It's like lift their shoulders. You don't need to lift your shoulders. When you breathe, you want to breathe deep into your ribs to make sure that you are actually breathing. And I think as we start doing that, you will discover that you concentrate more, you're awake more, your awareness is more open, because we need to be aware of how our body reacts and what it reacts to. Is it being triggered by something that we are not aware of? Maybe we need to pay attention. Maybe we need to sit and think about it. What triggered this suddenly? Or what triggered the deep breath of, oh my God, Or all those breaths that are talking to us and giving us indication and clues during the day, which we probably miss. So, so it was very important for me today to talk about that and to see if you can have a few days where you concentrate on that as you're doing different things in your day. You get into your car, you preparing to go. Are you holding your breath before you start driving, or are you breathing freely and gently? If you're holding your breath, then stop. Take a few breaths, pay attention, breathe normally, the in and out, and then start your car. The same in the shops, the same everywhere you go. When you talk to people, are you suddenly finding yourself being in a sort of like a tension thing, like you're feeling stress or you're tense suddenly? Stop for a minute and go, why am I tense? What's around me? What's happening? For me, it was always very important when I get to places that are quite big, like supermarkets and stuff like that, to pay attention where the exits are. I never liked being in apartment buildings that didn't have back door or back those fire stairs at the back. Or I never knew why. It took me many years to realize and to remember certain experiences I had in my life, which created that thing where I need to always feel that I have a way out. Now, as I said, it took me years to discover the reason for it, but even when I didn't know the reason for it, I made sure, once I realized that I was doing it naturally and it was making me anxious, I made a point when I get to places, I go on a plane, or I'm going to a supermarket, or I'm going this, that I'm saying to myself, instead of being anxious, pay attention, where are the exits? How do you get out of here if you need to get out? Okay, now I'm fine. I know where I am. Instead of like before, I would just get anxious. I would start, being more aggressive a little bit. My language was not as good, and it was a little bit unfair. And people that with me that didn't really realize that there was something triggering within me, and they didn't know my story. Well, I didn't know my story, so how would they know my story? And so for them, it was just like, it's not fun to go shopping with Rivka because, she always gets anxious. Now it's much more fun because I enjoy it, because I know this, I get that trigger, and so I'm calmly looking around going, yeah, this is the exit, this is the entrance, I know where I am, no problem, all is good. So, yeah. So for the next few days, have a breath, pay attention to your breath, pay attention to the triggers, and maybe try and learn something about yourself which will give you the chance to be more awake, more aware, use your intuition better, and also feel better about who you are and why you act or react, which then give you the opportunity to make a decision where you want to go, how you want to go where you're going, and feel safe and secure in the place that you are. That's it, guys. So I hope that is helpful, and I will talk about something else next time when it comes up. And if I have any messages, it'll be great. See you soon. Lots of love. Please don't forget to share, like, all those things. Bye.